We know that Lenin was a leader who inspired a Russian revolution that is undeniable. But do you happen to know what the life of his revolutionary? But do you happen to know what the life of this revolutionary, or for some totalitarian, was like? If you want to know, they stay tuned the video right now. But first, go ahead and subscribe the channel, turn on the notification bell, leave a like and leave your comment. Also, down here in video description, I'll leave a link to the other videos on the channel.
Vladimir Ilyich Polyanov, known as Lenin, is a political figure who remains highly controversial to this day. For some, Lenin was revolutionary, for others, a totalitarian who laid the foundation for this future Stalinist regime. But in fact, who was Lenin? Was he a revolutionary or just another totalitarian leader? From a Jewish family background, Lenin was born on April 22 in the city of Sibinsk, now Ulyanovsk. Lenin had an affinity for subjects like philosophy and literature. This Jewish boy, who loved to study, never imagined the world becoming one of the most emblematic figures of his time. And he would become one of the founders of a new form of government, communal in theory, but totalitarian in practice. Most historians agree that Russia was a totalitarian country, but different from other totalitarian governments like Nazi Germany or fascist Italy. However, we can't forget that during the Soviet Union under Stalin's rule, the Russian people were subject to a dictatorship of the proletariat, enforced by force and hard labor in labor camps known as gulags for criminals and political dissidents. This lasted from 1923 to 1986. It's worth noting that Lenin died in 1920 of typhus in Russia, and after that Stalin ordered the assassination of Leon Trotsky, who was murdered in Mexico, to take absolute power of the USSR. If Lenin hadn't died, many historians believe that we would never have accepted the coup from our government that Stalin, with an iron fist, imposed on the Russian people. Furthermore, Lenin was an open-minded Bolshevik leader who enjoyed discussing ideas, unlike Stalin, who imposed his will above all others. The only thing Lenin was hostile and disagreeing with were issues that threatened the Russian Revolution. Another relevant and controversial point is Lenin's ideals was the expulsion of intellectuals, academic professors, and Russian philosophers during the Bolshevik period. Some scholars believe that Lenin did support intellectuals, but only those who weren't aligned with Bolshevism. The ideal of communism was to make all people equal, jobs and salaries, and those educators who held a left position in Tsarist Russian society were no exception. So those educators and intellectuals had to leave Russia since they no longer held privileges and also feared being persecuted by the Bolsheviks. Still, we can deny that Lenin was one of the few revolutionary leaders who actually put his goals into actions and succeeded. I'm talking about the Russian Revolution, which Lenin believed the end fought for. Now let's go over some interesting facts about the Russian Revolution. Totalitarianism, a political system of absolute power of a nation. In totalitarianism, there are no multiple political parties, only a single political party exists. Examples include Nazism, Fascism, and Italianism. In such systems, both private and political life are controlled by the state, with censorship of freedom of speech. There is also the cult of the leader, viewed a kind of savior, for example Hitler for the Germans. There is also the repressive use of the state against anyone who opposes it, along with militarization and the strong presence of armed forces in government. Bolsheviks were former dissident members of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, which splits in 1903 into factions: the Bolsheviks majority, the Mensheviks minority. These two factions compete for power, and the Bolsheviks prevailed. Later, they called themselves communists. Now let's wrap up Lenin's biography. 1817, April 22, birth of Vladimir Lenin in the city of Sibirsky. 1887, Lenin's older brother, Alexander Leonov, was hanged for participating in a plot to assassinate the Russian Tsar, Alexander II. 1891, Lenin graduates in law. 1897, Lenin is exiled to Siberia due to his political activities during the 3-year imprisonment in Siberia. Lenin marries Nadia Kuprskaya. Lenin is released from Siberia and seeks refuge in Germany and England. 1917, Lenin and his political party, the Bolsheviks, take power in Russia and begin the Russian Revolution. 1922, Lenin suffers a stroke that affects his moral functions. In the same year, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, is created. 1924, March 21, Lenin dies in the city of Gorky, near Moscow.